Okay, when it comes to the presidential election, everyone has the same question. Who's going to save me more money? So let's talk about it by looking at both Trump's and Harris's proposals around the economy. Now, we know, because he talks about it constantly, that Trump's big economic proposal is centered around adding a 10 to 20% tariff on all imported goods, plus a 60% tariff on everything from China, which is about 40% of consumer goods. A tariff is basically a tax put by a government on imported goods. Sometimes the idea is to make those goods less appealing than domestic products, but tariffs can also be used to raise revenue for the government, and that's why Trump wants them. See, he wants to make his 2017 tax cuts permanent. These tax cuts, which are very, very expensive, have mostly helped the very wealthiest. They have especially made corporations more profitable. But back to the tariffs. While Trump and Vance have both said that foreign countries will pay them, economists across the spectrum, from Goldman Sachs to Moody's to the conservative-leaning Tax Foundation, have all predicted with certainty that these costs will get passed on to you and me at the store. So Trump's tariffs will basically be like a sales tax on regular American consumers to the tune of about $3,000 to $4,000 a year, although some think it will be more, all to pay for Trump's tax cuts for rich people. Why do I feel like we're getting scammed here? Anyway, now let's look at Kamala Harris's plan to lower the costs of everyday goods. First, Harris says she'll go after bad actors who've exploited COVID-era price increases to rip off consumers. Now, she'll call for the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging for food and groceries. And before you say that's not possible, 37 states already have such bans. And Harris has a track record here. When she was Attorney General of California, she took on big banks, for-profit colleges, and big oil, and got money back for people who had been ripped off. That's people like you and me. She means business, y'all. Harris also says she'll crack down on anti-competitive practices that let big corporations jack up prices. And again, there's a track record here. The Biden-Harris administration has been amazing on antitrust. They've sued to block the Albertsons-Kroger merger, to break up Google, to hit Amazon for anti-competitive practices, and so much more. Since corporate consolidation is one of the main reasons for price hikes, this is a big deal. As for tax cuts, Harris wants to give them to the working class. She's promised that no one earning less than $400,000 a year will pay more in taxes. She also wants to expand the child tax credit to $3,600 per child and the earned income tax credit. Through these two programs, millions of working Americans will get to keep more of their income and put it back into the local economy. Finally, Harris wants to roll back Trump's tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans, instituting a billionaire minimum tax, quadrupling the tax on stock buybacks, and enacting other reforms to make sure that the very wealthy are paying their fair share. She'll use that money to pay down the deficit and to help fund programs that will help us, like $25,000 in down payment help for first-time homebuyers, medical debt cancellation, and more. Stuff I'll have to talk about in another video because there's so much. So, under Trump, economists are pretty much unanimous in predicting steep price increases. Oh, and I forgot to mention it, a recession by 2025. Under Harris, on the other hand, your tax rate is likely to go down. Millions of Americans will have more money in their pockets because of the child tax credit and the EIC. And we know that she'll be aggressive at going after corporations that are trying to get rich off of our backs because she already has been. So those are the plans. Basically, if you want to subsidize more tax cuts for rich people, then vote for Trump. But if you want more money in your pocket, simple. Kamala Harris is going to put it there. Tell a friend.